Welcome to the Talkin Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Going into a big recruiting weekend for the Vols. A lot of guys on campus. It is that final push. It is that last opportunity to get those official visits in before we go into the dead period. I think Tennessee's going to have a couple of commitments come in over the next few weeks, so we will keep you guys up to date. But it is a big recruiting weekend. Again, you're going to have Nico Iamaleava in town. As always, it seems to be the case. We talk about the Nico effect, and some people, whether you buy into that or not, I think it's pretty clear what Nico is doing for the class of 23. And every time there is an opportunity, he is on Rocky Top. He is in the ear of other elite athletes trying to get them in the boat. And I know there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of frustration on missing out on Kyler Casper. There's a lot of frustration missing out on Carnell Tate. And people are starting to doubt. They're starting to doubt the Nico effect, but you have to look at what Josh Heupel has already done with this class of 23. You've got 3 top 100 prospects, obviously Nico himself, but then you've got Caleb Herring, the #1 player in the state of Tennessee. You've also got Ethan Davis, who is a top 100 prospect, 4-star tight end out of the state of Georgia. But Nico is always on campus when he has the opportunity to recruit. He is on campus, and he is in the ear of guys like Francis Mauigoa. I made a video on him earlier. Go check that out. He's in town as well. Can Tennessee make that final push? You've also got 4-star defensive tackle Hunter Osborne is on campus, Christian Conyer, Jeremiah Cobb. But the guy I want to talk about today, 4-star corner JaKeem Jackson out of the state of Florida. We're going to talk about his recruitment. We'll get into his scouting report, watch a little bit of highlights. But as always, do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy, it helps the channel. If you're new to the Talkin Vols Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not trying to pretend to be something we're not. We are fans, just like you guys, for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. You guys know the catchphrase by now. For the fans, by the fans. The boys over at Volunteer Utility Services are fans just like you and I. They handle all commercial and residential excavation needs, utilities, septic tanks, irrigation installs, dog fences, and more. They also do landscaping, masonry, concrete work, and junk removal. Give them a call, 865-320-6194. That's 865-320-6194. Check them out on social media. I'll drop the links to that in the description below. For the fans, by the fans. Show some love for not only an East Tennessee local business, but also a member of the Talkin Vols family. Volunteer Utility Services. So let's talk about JaKeem Jackson. If you look at the On3.com recruiting profile, you can see there 6'2", 184 pounds. On3 has him listed as a 4-star prospect. 24/7 also has him as a 4-star prospect. Again, out of the state of Florida. You look at the recruiting prediction machine there. They've got Tennessee out front, but his recruitment at this point is wide open. He's not set to make a decision until October, so that makes it a little difficult using the official visit this early in the year during the summer for a guy that's not going to commit until we get further into the fall. And again, he's out of the state of Florida. Austin Price over at VolQuest was kind of talking about on one of their recent podcasts that in-state schools, your Floridas, your Miamis, are going to come pushing for JaKeem Jackson. So can Tennessee, can they hold on to him? If they create some momentum on the visit this weekend, can they hold on to him? You go down and look at visits. Again, he was on campus at Tennessee back in the spring for an unofficial visit. When he was on campus, the quote he had to say, he said, really good visit, liked it. It was a good environment. I liked the high intensity of their practice. Also liked how the coaches showed me how I would play if I end up there. And it seems to be that anytime these guys are on campus, when they're in town, they have good visits. And I think that goes a long way with to talk about this coaching staff and what they're building, the culture, the atmosphere. I feel like they are authentic, they are genuine, and people relate to them. And I know it's the we talk about the highs and lows of recruiting. Guys, they never have a bad visit. They always come out smiling ear to ear, talking about Tennessee. But you got a long way to go. You got to close the deal. But JaKeem Jackson as a prospect, again, 4-star defensive back. If you look at the scouting report, he's got some speed, man. He's got some speed. This is from 24/7 Sports. It says a pass catcher turned defender that's just starting to figure things out on the defensive side of the ball. Has the length everyone wants these days with a thin, wiry frame that's over 6 feet. Tested in the upper percentile spring before senior season, clocking a 4.5 40-yard dash, added even more context to his speed profile when he ran a wind-aided 10.9 100-meter dash a little bit later. Didn't get a ton of snaps on defense as a junior after starting his season off working primarily with the wide receivers, but ended up totaling 3 interceptions in just 4 games. Rather quick to read and diagnose, ultra competitive in the air, and understands how to put himself in position to make a play at the catch point. Aggressive with the hand checks and isn't afraid to tug or pull a jersey. Has shown that he can press jam at the line of scrimmage, but technique needs some work. Must also eventually add some functional strength in hopes of not getting overpowered by college-sized skill players. Doesn't exactly shy away from contact, but could always get a little more involved in run support, especially if he lines up on the boundary side of the field. Offensive highlights will have some talent evaluators thinking that he should be utilized as a wideout on Saturdays, but rare combination of long limbs, verified speed make him one of the most promising defensive prospects in the state of Florida for 2023. We'll need time to develop, but traits are there to emerge as a starting corner for a top 25 program. And, we talk a lot in this recruiting class, in this current team going into the fall. We talk about the lack of depth, the need. Why is Tennessee not getting defensive backs in the boat? We say the same thing about the linebacker position. And you start to question the recruiting, Willie Martinez, Brian Jean-Marie. But really, when you sit back and look at it, they've already added some pieces in the defensive backfield. You've got Sylvester Smith, 4-star safety out of Alabama. I think he is a nice prospect that's in the boat. You've also got 3-star safety Jack Luttrell, who a lot of people say is the most underrated safety in the class. I mean, if you watch the film, if you see his athleticism, I think there's a lot of potential there. But I also think you add a guy like JaKeem Jackson, and then you kind of maybe you halt the questioning on Willie Martinez, and maybe he is doing a good job on the recruiting trail. I think we're going to see this year. I think the secondary has an opportunity to improve this year, and maybe call me crazy, right? Call me crazy because you got to find a way to replace Alontae Taylor, but I think this secondary has some young up-and-coming talent. Can Willie Martinez develop them and get enough out of them? Guys like Christian Charles. What about a guy like Brandon Turnage? Man, I really think that Brandon Turnage has an opportunity to make a big-time impact this fall, whether that be at the star position or whether he actually locks down a corner position. And again, Christian Charles, a guy that got a lot of work. We were talking about him being a safety, but he's a guy that got a lot of work at corner over the spring due to injuries. I think this is a young secondary that has some potential. You added the kid Walker. You added Walker from Georgia Tech in the transfer portal. You also added Andre Turrentine from Ohio State. So you got a lot of versatility there. This fall is going to be very interesting to watch the secondary for this current football team. But again, some young talent. So when you add guys like Jack Luttrell, when you add guys like Sylvester Smith, and if you can get a guy like JaKeem Jackson, get him locked down, I don't know. Again, we got a long way to go in his recruitment. Not going to make a decision until October, but Tennessee has an opportunity this weekend to make a push, make an impact, and see. Also, Christian Conyers is going to be on campus this weekend. That's a huge one, man. That is a huge one when we talk about the momentum in the recruiting and where it went. What happened to Tennessee went from the top of the mountain, and we're laughing and making jokes and talking about the number one NIL collective, to now it's kind of a divided fan base, and there's a lot of back and forth arguing about whether or not we need to be patient or whether or not this staff is failing. We got a long way to go until signing day, but Christian Conyers, a big one to keep an eye on this weekend, as he is also in town for his official. He's a guy that seemed to be all Vol until he went up for his official visit to Kentucky. So it'll be interesting to follow that one, see how it plays out. John Slaughter is a guy that I like to pull the trigger. I think John Slaughter is going to be in the boat sooner rather than later. So again, Tennessee adding some pieces in the secondary. Can JaKeem Jackson be one of those guys on campus again? He was here back in the spring, now back this weekend for an official 4-star prospect out of the state of Florida. Hit that comment section and let me know your thoughts. Can Tennessee lock him down, or is this just another official visit that we're going to see end up in Florida or Miami or somewhere like that? Hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. As always, make sure you smash that thumbs up on the way out the door and go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin Vols Network. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. I'll drop the link to that in the description below. Also want to thank all the listeners, all the new members of the channel. If you want to become a member, you can hit that join button down below. financially support what we're trying to do here, we would greatly appreciate it. So we can bring you more content, more videos coming your way. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Talkin' Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.